I found a man's shirt in her car. She said, "He's just a childhood friend." I said nothing. I dropped her stuff at his place. And what happened next? She never saw it coming. I still remember the way the sunlight hit the dashboard of her car that morning. Everything looked normal, peaceful even. We were on our way to her mom's house for brunch, a Saturday tradition she claimed was sacred. But that morning, something small changed everything. It was just a shirt, a gray t-shirt, carelessly tucked into the passenger seat pocket. But it wasn't mine. I didn't wear that brand, and I sure as hell didn't forget clothes in her car. "Whose shirt is that?" I asked, trying to sound casual, but my voice cracked a little at the end. She glanced at it, then laughed like I'd just asked the dumbest question on earth. "Oh my God, relax, that's Ryan's. You remember Ryan, right? My childhood friend? From soccer camp?" I didn't remember Ryan. Not really. Maybe she'd mentioned him once in one of those rapid-fire story dumps about high school and old memories. But his shirt being here, that didn't feel like old memories. I didn't say anything. Not then. I just nodded and forced a smile. We drove the next 20 minutes in silence. Her humming to the radio, me trying to slow down my heartbeat. When we got to her mom's place, I stayed quiet, played nice, ate the pancakes, laughed when appropriate. But inside, something had shifted. Later that night, I waited till she was asleep, then checked the passenger seat again. Same shirt, folded now, which meant she had seen it again and decided to keep it there. Who the hell folds another guy's shirt in her car? Sunday, she was on her phone a lot, texting and smiling and then hiding it when I looked over. "Just my cousin," she said when I asked. "You wouldn't know her." I wasn't paranoid. I was paying attention. Tuesday, she said she had a late meeting. Her job isn't the kind that has late meetings. I didn't say anything, just kissed her on the cheek and said, "Drive safe." She came back at 11:17 p.m., hair curled, lipstick red, smelled like men's cologne. "Who wears that cologne?" I asked. She blinked. "What?" I leaned in. "That cologne. It's not mine." "You're being crazy," she said. "Jesus, you're so paranoid lately. Maybe we need some space." And there it was, the first crack wide enough to step through. The next day, I left work early and parked 2 blocks away from her office. Watched her come out around 4:15 p.m. Not with coworkers, with a guy, tall, wearing a familiar gray shirt, laughing, comfortable. She leaned into him before they got into his car. I didn't follow, didn't shout, didn't confront. I just drove home. That night, she texted, "Working late again, don't wait up." I replied, "Cool. Sleep well." She came home after midnight, tried to slip in quiet. I was on the couch, lights off, waiting. "How was work?" She jumped. "Jesus, you scared me." "Must have been a long meeting." She stared. "Can we not do this right now?" "Sure," I said. "Let's do it tomorrow. Or never." She stormed into the bedroom. I didn't follow. The next morning, I was gone before she woke up. I went to work like normal, except I wasn't thinking about spreadsheets or deadlines. I was thinking about how easy it is for trust to rot from the inside, how silence becomes the breeding ground for lies. That evening, I asked if she wanted to go out for dinner. Acted like everything was fine. She smiled, confused but relieved. "Yeah, sure. Tie?" I nodded. "Perfect. Let's get dressed." I wore my best shirt. She wore the red dress, the one I used to love. It looked different now, like a costume. At the restaurant, I let her talk. She talked about work, friends, her mom. Nothing about Ryan. I waited until the bill came. Paid in cash. No receipt. When we got home, she went to shower. I walked into the bedroom, opened her closet, and started pulling out things that weren't mine. The shirt. The earrings I'd never seen before. A hoodie too big to be hers. By the time she came out in a towel, it was all in a box. What is that?" she asked. Returns, I said. To the guy whose cologne you wore last week. You're insane, she said. It's not what you think. It never is, I said. Until it is. She reached for the box. I didn't stop her. I'm going to bed, I said. Do what you want with that. And I walked out. I didn't sleep that night. I lay on the couch in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence between us grow louder by the hour. She didn't come out of the bedroom, didn't say a word, and I didn't expect her to. At around 6:30 a.m., I heard the soft creak of the bedroom door. She walked into the kitchen, quietly, like a thief, and started the coffee machine. I could smell the vanilla hazelnut blend she always made when she was nervous. She didn't look at me, just poured herself a mug and stood by the window. No apology, no explanation, just avoidance. I sat up, rubbed my face, and asked, "Are you still pretending I'm crazy?" She turned, finally meeting my eyes. There was something different in her face now. Not guilt, not anger, but exhaustion. Like she was tired of the performance too. "You don't understand," she said, her voice almost a whisper. I stood up and walked toward her. "Then help me, because from where I'm standing it looks like you lied. Over and over." She didn't deny it. She didn't even flinch. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said. "You didn't want to, you just did." She took a long breath. "It wasn't serious. Ryan and we reconnected. It was a stupid mistake." I laughed. A small, bitter sound. Stupid mistakes don't wear cologne and leave their clothes in your car. Silence. I picked up the box of his things and held it out. "You can return these yourself." She didn't take it. I left it by the door. I went to work that day like a ghost. Everyone around me moved fast. Deadlines, meetings, coffee runs. But I was underwater. Everything was muffled, slow, meaningless. That night, I came home to find her stuff half-packed. Suitcases open on the bed. Clothes folded in angry silence. She didn't look at me when I walked in. "Are you leaving?" I asked. She zipped one suitcase and said, "You made it clear I should." I stood in the doorway and watched her. I didn't say go. I said don't lie. She didn't respond, just kept packing. I turned to leave, but her voice stopped me. I didn't mean to fall for him. I paused. That one sentence carried more weight than anything else she'd said. I turned slowly. "You fell for him?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen. We were just talking, and then you started lying to me." She nodded. My voice was calm, too calm. "You should go." She froze. "What?" I gestured toward the suitcases. "If there's even a part of you that loves him, you need to go figure it out. I won't be here when you do." She sat down on the edge of the bed, like the weight of the situation finally hit her. "Do you hate me?" I thought for a second. "Number, but I don't trust you, and love without trust is just fiction." She cried. Quietly, I didn't comfort her. I walked into the other room and started boxing up my own things, not out of spite, but out of survival. Over the next 2 days, we barely spoke. She left on a Thursday afternoon, said she was staying with a friend. I didn't ask who. By Friday night, the apartment felt empty, too quiet, like the air had been sucked out. Her scent still lingered in the bathroom. Her books were still on the shelf. But she was gone. Saturday morning, I got a text from an unknown number. "Just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I hope you find someone who never makes you feel crazy for trusting your gut." No name, but I knew. I didn't reply. Instead, I called a realtor, told her I wanted to see listings in a different part of the city. A fresh start, new air, no ghosts. That evening, I boxed up everything that reminded me of her. Photos, trinkets, inside jokes we framed and hung on the wall. All of it went into a sealed storage bin. I didn't have the heart to burn it, but I couldn't live with it either. Sunday morning, I walked to the cafe down the block. My first real morning alone. I ordered black coffee and a cinnamon roll. Sat near the window. Watched the world go by. That's when someone tapped my shoulder. "Hey, is this seat taken?" I looked up. It was Ellie, her best friend. The same best friend I'd met a dozen times. The one who always joked I was too good for my girlfriend. The one who once whispered, "If she ever messes this up, you better let me know." She was smiling, nervous, holding her own coffee. I blinked. "No, go ahead." She sat down, took a sip. "Heard you guys broke up." I nodded. "I'm sorry," she said, though her tone didn't quite match the words. I tilted my head. "You don't seem that sorry." She laughed. "Okay, I'm not. She didn't deserve you." Silence passed. Then I asked, "So why are you here?" She looked out the window. "Because I've been waiting 2 years for her to screw this up." I raised an eyebrow. She turned to face me. "So, you want to talk about it? Or maybe not talk at all, just something different?" I smiled. First real smile in days. "Yeah," I said. "Something different sounds good." We sat there for hours. No grand declarations, no rebound confessions, just two people, each carrying a little damage, trying not to let it define them. Ellie wasn't what I expected. She wasn't there to flirt or fix me. She didn't pry, didn't play therapist. She just listened. And sometimes, that's all you need. After our third coffee refill, she said, "You know, I hated the way she treated you. I kept my mouth shut because, well, she was my best friend." "Was?" I asked. She nodded. "We haven't talked since she told me what happened. She tried to spin it, like you overreacted, like you were being controlling. But I've seen enough. I was there when you used to call her just to say you missed her, when you'd pick her up from work after 12-hour shifts. Hell, I was there when she forgot your birthday 2 years in a row and you still showed up with flowers on hers." That stung. Not because I hadn't remembered, but because I hadn't realized someone else had. "You really kept track of all that?" I asked. "I didn't have to," she said. "It was obvious." We didn't talk about us that day. There was no us, not yet. Just two friends with a strange shared gravity. Over the next few weeks, Ellie and I bumped into each other more often. Or maybe we made it happen. A quick coffee run here, a movie night with mutual friends there, an accidental lunch that somehow lasted till sunset. I never once asked her about my ex, and she never once brought her up. But one night, after too many glasses of wine and not enough food, she finally said it. "I know this is complicated." I leaned back on the couch. "It doesn't feel complicated." "It will," she said, "when she finds out." "She already left," I replied. "She can't be mad about someone else picking up the pieces she dropped." Ellie went quiet. "You think she'll hate you?" I asked. She nodded. "Yeah, and I hate that it still matters." That made sense. Loyalty's weird like that. Even after betrayal, a part of us clings to what was, or what we wanted it to be. But I'd already crossed the bridge. I wasn't turning back. 3 days later, my ex texted me out of nowhere. "So, you're with her now?" No context, no greeting. I stared at the screen. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then I typed, "I'm with someone who respects me. That's all that matters." She didn't reply. That same night, Ellie showed up at my place with takeout. Chinese food. My favorite. She knew somehow. "I think she knows," I said, opening the door. Ellie just smiled. Let her. And that was it. The moment it became real. We weren't hiding. We weren't flaunting. We were just two people trying again, carefully, honestly. One Saturday afternoon, we ran into my ex, by accident in the same bookstore we used to visit. She looked at Ellie, looked at me, said nothing. but her face said enough. Jealousy, regret, a pinch of rage. Ellie held my hand, not tightly, not performatively, just gently, like a quiet statement. And I swear, I saw it in my ex's eyes. The realization that just friends isn't something you can weaponize unless you're ready for someone else to mean it. Later that evening, I asked Ellie, "Do you ever feel guilty?" She paused. Sometimes. But then I remember, I didn't destroy anything. I showed up after the wreckage. I nodded. You didn't take her place. You just helped me stop standing in an empty one. By the time fall rolled around, we'd fallen into something easy. Sunday mornings at the farmer's market, movie marathons on rainy nights. That kind of love that doesn't knock you over, just stays. One night, while brushing her teeth, Ellie said, "I'm scared." "Of what?" I asked. "That I'm just the rebound, that you're still getting over her." I stepped closer, looked her in the mirror. If this was a rebound, it wouldn't feel this calm, this real. She nodded. Okay. And in that moment, I realized, trust doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's just a quiet, okay. One day, I got a message request on Instagram from Ryan. The Ryan, shirt in the car, Ryan. "Hey man, didn't mean for things to get messy. Hope there's no hard feelings." I stared at the message, chuckled to myself, and deleted it without replying. Because some people don't deserve closure. They deserve silence. It was a crisp December evening when Ellie and I put up our first Christmas tree together. Nothing extravagant. Just a 6-foot fake pine from Target, a string of warm lights, and some mismatched ornaments from her childhood. There was a snowman missing an arm, a glitter-covered pine cone that stuck to everything, and a weird felt cat with googly eyes that we ended up naming Clarence. It wasn't perfect. It was ours. As we hung the last ornament, Ellie looked at me with that quiet warmth I'd come to recognize. The kind that doesn't ask for attention, but always has it. "I never thought we'd end up here," she said. "Me either." She hesitated. "Do you ever think about her? Like, what if she hadn't?" "No," I cut in. "Because if she hadn't, I'd still be pretending I was happy." Ellie didn't smile. She just nodded, like the weight of that truth landed somewhere soft inside her. But closure, real closure, didn't come from that conversation. It came a week later when I got an unexpected voicemail. It was her, my ex. "Hey, I don't know why I'm calling. I just saw your mom at the store. She said you seem really happy. I guess I thought, I don't know, maybe we could talk sometime." I didn't reply. Not because I was angry, not even out of pride, but because I'd finally reached a place where her voice didn't pull anything from me. No longing, no rage, just silence. The kind of silence you earn. New Year's Eve rolled around. Ellie and I didn't go to a party, no countdowns, no confetti, just us on the couch, watching old movies and sipping spiked cider. When the clock hit midnight, she leaned in and said, "This is the first new year I'm not making a wish." "Why not?" "Because I don't want anything to change." And in that moment, I realized I didn't either. We weren't a fairy tale. We didn't fall in love like in the movies. It was slower, like water shaping stone. No explosion, just consistency. But somewhere in that quiet, I'd found everything I thought I lost. The story could have ended there. A clean break from the past, a soft beginning. But life, real life, doesn't work like that. Months later, I ran into my ex again, this time at a wedding. Mutual friends, one of those unavoidable things. She looked different, older somehow, not in a bad way, just like life had hit her a few times since. She walked over during the reception, said hi. Small talk. Then, out of nowhere, "I still don't get it. How you just moved on?" I took a sip of my drink. Because you made it easy. Her lips tightened. So that's it? 2 years? And that's your takeaway? I didn't answer immediately. I let the silence sit. Then I said, "You asked me to be your friend. So I did what I do for all my friends. I respected their space. I let go. And when someone else showed up who actually saw me, I didn't look back." She shook her head, maybe at me, maybe at herself. "I didn't think you had it in you." "That's the thing," I said. "You never really saw me. Just the version of me you could control." She didn't say goodbye, and I didn't need one. Later that night, as Ellie and I slow danced near the edge of the dance floor, she looked up and whispered, "Was it weird seeing her again?" "No," I said honestly. "It was clarifying." Clarifying? That I've been standing in the right place ever since I stopped chasing the wrong one. She didn't reply, just pressed her head against my chest and let the music carry us. And that was the final chapter. Not in a dramatic way, not with vengeance or applause, but with peace, real peace. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't rage or rebound. It's moving on with grace. It's finding someone who doesn't make you beg to be chosen, and it's knowing, deep down, that the person who tried to just friend you never really understood what it meant to love you. But someone else did, and that made all the difference.